Hey everybody, welcome back to Doom Productions, home of the No Budget Film School. Today, we got to talk to RC Films, and now we're going to go right with those guys because we're way better, and you know what? Doom Productions all the way, and bada bing, bada boom, here we go. Yeah, look at me, I'm Ethan. Look at me. Ooh. Oh, I love Justice League. Oh.
Hold on. We are Doom Productions, and this is the home of the No Budget Film School. And today we have two very special guests on the show, all the way from Yakima, Washington, just a little far north from us. RC Films came down to visit. We got to hang out, do some awesome filmmaker stuff. But the main thing that you guys can get to see is we recorded a little Filmmaker Hangout where we chatted about some of their projects they've worked on.
Yeah, if you don't know RC Films, they've done 3 feature films and some shorts. But the 3 features have done, they're Living with Trevor, 7th, and Not So Amazing. Great movies. Please check them out. Go watch their channel. Go subscribe to them. They're awesome. They're doing some great work. And I think they got a lot of stuff coming for us in the next year.
Yeah. So enjoy this little video where we talk to them. It's a little bit of actually a longer one. We usually only do these interview type things for like 30 minutes, but this one's more like an hour 15, just because there's so much to talk about with all their features, and they have some crazy stories about when they were shooting, all the stuff that they had to deal with. But stick around for the end, because we have kind of a special announcement / call, I guess, that we're going to be making. So stick around for that at the end. But until then, enjoy this little interview with RC Films. Well, here we are with RC Film Boys over here joining us in person, which is super exciting. You guys came all the way down from Washington down here to boring old Portland. So
Don't even dare. I will win this game if we start.
yeah. So just go into a little bit of who you guys are. What is RC Films?
Yeah. So we make feature films like you guys on YouTube. We've made 3, 2 of which I've directed. The other one I produced, and Nathan worked really hard on also. Made 3 feature films, a couple short films, and we're working on some other stuff right now. So kind of doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Super great.
So how is it you guys came to become a part of this new movement? It's something that I feel like listening to interviews with you guys and seeing your stuff, it seems like something you just came to naturally and discovered that other people were doing. I mean, but why did you guys make the decision to, hey, let's make a full feature film and let's put it on YouTube?
Yeah, so it started with Living with Trevor, and this was before I knew anybody that ended up being in Living with Trevor. Who I originally was on YouTube doing movie reviews because I loved movies and I didn't trust myself to make movies, so I was like, okay, next best thing, I'll just review movies or whatever, and it was really uncomfortable. I was not good at it, and it was just very clear after like the first year of doing that I'm not Chris Stuckman, that's not me.
Yeah.
So I kind of tossed that out, and I watched Clerks, and that changed my perspective on everything, and I was like, okay, I am gonna, if Kevin Smith can go make this movie, I can also do it. So then I got a Canon T2i, and I think first Living with Trevor was going to be a mini-series, and we shot 1 episode of it that will never be seen because the hard drive was destroyed on accident.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it was not good, so I'm not mourning the loss of that footage, but and then after that I just started to think about that Clerks thing, and I really wanted to make this movie, and the Trevor character thing was a big part of my life at that point. My brother Adam was just a constant joke around our house. He was constantly playing that character just to get laughs out of our family and stuff, and it was like, okay, I don't have a great idea for a movie, so let's just run with this Trevor thing. And and then so I started envisioning Living with Trevor as a feature, and then from there on, the process of RC Films began, and people started coming to me and wanting to be a part of it, and now it's expanded to this massive thing that we're doing in Yakima. And I'm not giving myself the credit for it. I'm just saying nobody was doing anything in Yakima. So when I was I'm making a feture film, I feel like a lot of people were like, that's cool, and came and helped, and kind of the rest is history. Yeah. And we just finished my second feature film Not So Amazing, and we didn't even find out about this movement until after that came out. So like
Yeah.
we're very new to this whole thing that we've apparently been doing this whole time.
We're the new kids in the block. Yeah.
We know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just jumped in and started making features. Did you touch shorts at all first, or you
Nope.
just?
I still haven't made a short film.
That's
I've produced a
incredible,
amazing.
dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, he's a madman. That kid, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna jump into this. I'm not gonna build up to this question, but like, so for Not So Amazing and Living with Trevor, you have big casts in your movies. How do you go about getting people? Is it just you're bugging them, like scheduling wise, casting, all of that? What's kind of, where do you start?
I'll let you start with Living with Trevor. How about
Yeah, and you can go Not So, because
Okay.
Yeah.
Nathan is a big part of the casting of Not So. Living with Trevor was the classic friends of friends, family members, whatever. There isn't a lot of people in that movie that I didn't know personally. But yeah, the schedule thing is actually a big reason why our movies take longer, I feel, than other folk filmmaking movies. And it's something that I would like to refine going forward. But yeah, the scheduling does get hard with that big of a cast, because on our level, we're not paying anybody. We're not paying anyone to be in our movies, so we are at the mercy of people's work schedules and stuff. So we're gonna shoot when you can shoot, and if that's like a month from now, then we have to wait a month to shoot the scene or whatever. But yeah, for Living with Trevor, it was just like I had met some people from school that wanted to be a part of it, and Adam knew some people. Gage, the main actor in that movie, knew a lot of people also. And yeah, so it was just friends of friends and stuff. And Not So was a whole different thing. Like,
that was a different beast.
yeah, a bigger. Living with Trevor and Not So have similar sized casts, but Not So.
We're doing this for real, guys. This ain't no green screen out here.
Look at that Photoshop dog. Sorry, you're giving something. You're like giving the beautiful
Yeah,
speech. Okay.
Not So has like a very similar cast size, but it is, the cast members are way more integral to the movie. So bigger, like the supporting cast is more important in Not So, I guess. So you can.
Okay, I guess I take over now. Basically, for Not So, we had the main cast for Not So. We had, our lead, which was Caleb. We had a couple side characters that were more important to the film, and again, they were casting for those characters as I auditioned. So that happened, and then basically, I didn't get a part at first. No, I'm not trying to just throw Caleb under the bus for doing that. I'm not trying to be like.
You heard it here first, folks.
Inside scoop drama, it's good stuff. What happened though is that I got the part later on down the road, the one I got in the movie that I will not spoil. You'll find that out after you watch Not So Amazing on RC Films, by the way. And
We'll have a link.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Link in the description.
But basically, he was like, dude, we have so many extras. We need to figure out how we're going to get all these extras. And he's like, anybody who knows people, please invite them. Let them know they can be a part of this movie. And then I was like, I have somebody in mind. And from that day forward, I became the casting person. So every extra in that film, I was most likely the person that got them.
Wow.
So I was, and funny enough, sometimes I wouldn't even have time to grab extras or like people who'd be willing to do it. So what ended up happening is that you would see like, if you see people in the background with like hoodies and they all look mysteriously like the same person, and mysteriously look like me, I mean, it probably, just saying, I'll let you put the pieces together. Yeah, but that's how that happened. But I was mostly, it's just friends of friends. You live long enough in a small town, you basically meet everybody. Everybody, and most people want something to do in Yakima and want to be creative. And the minute they're like, hey, so we're like making a Spider-Man movie, you want to be in like the background? You want to get punched by any chance? Like, and then they're like, sure. Yeah, that's
There's nothing to do in Yakima, so the second someone hears we're making a feature film, it's pretty much like, yeah, that beats doing nothing. Like,
yeah, we have a wonderful cast. Like, we were almost going to try to plan a cast dinner, but I'm like, I can't even like plan that one out. It's like, that's insane. Like, the final fight was the hardest part to plan out,
Oh man,
yeah,
that was a scheduling nightmare.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that? Like, is it just messaging people and trying to be like, what day is everyone free, or is there like?
Yeah.
No, exactly
We had a group chat too, but that night was complicated because like that was one of those shooting nights where it's like we had certain people from this time to this time, we had certain people from this time to this time,
Yeah.
and they're all in the scene at the same time together. So
Oh,
it was
boy.
like this 12-hour like Godzilla behemoth shoot, and we were like, there was zero chance of us being able to shoot in order. So like it was it was a disaster.
Folks, if you don't feel stressed out, you're not a filmmaker. No. I think everybody can relate to that
Yeah.
and feels your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the peak of how hard scheduling got with Natsu.
Yeah, and just shooting in general. Like,
Yeah.
that was the hardest night easily.
Yeah, it was below zero, 12 hours. Yeah, it was
yeah.
bad.
You know, I'm not trying to throw a pity party over here.
Now, you two have told us a pretty elaborate, pretty crazy story about that night,
Yeah.
which almost warrants a movie in itself.
Yeah.
Have you told that story elsewhere? I mean, have you shared it before?
I mean,
You briefly talked about it on Cody's podcast,
Yeah.
but you could give the expanded, and
I
I would
Well,
let you
Max
do
would like to hear it.
Max
so-
would like to hear.
okay. You guys actually like, can we do this? Are we good?
Oh,
Let's do this.
I think
We're
yes.
here. We got the time.
This
we
is
got
an
the space.
exclusive Doom production
Yeah,
scoop
okay,
right
yeah.
here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Cody. I didn't tell you the full story.
Cody got to fly out here to hear the full story.
So basically, what people don't know is that we have this climactic fight scene in the movie, which you wouldn't expect from a no-budget feature in general, to this scale at least, and we got it done. Sorry to toot our own horn, no big deal. But basically, the thing that people don't know is that there are two versions of that night, because the first night failed miserably, which is the main part of this story, which is that we had this entire night planned out. It was like, okay, we have all these shooting days, we just need to get this one done. I'm about to sneeze. Give me a second. Thank you. Man,
Bless
this
you.
is great.
Bless you.
This is great content. Good. Man. So first night comes along, and we are planning out the hardest night of our life, and we're thinking to ourselves, this is a cakewalk. We'll be fine. We've done hard stuff before in the cold and the rain.
And it was actually really like easy for the first.
yeah.
For that first, like we were feeling really good
Yeah,
for that
like
first half of
we
that
shot
night.
like okay, so like on that night we shot a speech on top of a car that is now cut out with our main it's sadly cut out, so that's gone. But that actual speech, the recording of it, is in the movie. And by the way, that is the only thing from that night that we kept. Like
Oh, man.
out
Okay.
of like a 7-hour shoot, that is the only thing we kept.
What time did you start? What time did you guys start
7
shooting?
o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay.
PM. Yeah, we started at 7 o'clock p.m. right before it got dark, and then we
And,
probably.
and where do you show up? Where is this taking place?
Where do we show up? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Where's location?
Location.
So basically,
Yeah.
ghetto part of Yakima. Yes.
All right.
So yeah, that's the best way.
That's
Sounds-
where we lived for Not So Amazing. We pitched a tent and we just lived in
Yeah,
ghetto
exactly. So the area. So this is where we're at. We're on by a train museum, like literally right by a train museum, and we're on two different sides. On one side is where we shoot the speech side, and then we go right around the corner to use this parking lot for the big final fight. We had somewhere else planned, but what ended up happening is that the original place that we wanted to go to, this dead parking lot, like every day of the year, for some reason, everyone wanted to be there all of a sudden. They were like, oh man, this is the coolest. And I'm like,
They heard there
thanks.
was a Spider-Man movie being shot there, and they had to show
Like,
up.
they were ready to go. I was like, let's go. No, I wish that happened. You know, I wish we had like extras like this.
Punch me, please.
Yeah. I wish it was like, we had an amazing night. No,
Yeah.
it was terrible. So that happened.
Problem number one.
Problem number Problem number one, no one to get punched.
Yeah.
Problem number two, basically we were like, we need to find another place, and we just went back to that train museum and went right around it, and there was a parking lot and some type of like medical hospital place, and we shot there for, I want to say, 6 hours. We shot there for 6 hours. It was awful, terrible. I forgot my lines because, let's just say, I show up at that part. I'm not going to specify as who, but I show up in that part. I was, people were stressed out. We had pizza, which, as you have mentioned, as you mentioned before, like
Mistake.
Late nights and pizzas. Woo.
yeah, we had water bottles. We had so many like supportive people, but everything was going horribly wrong,
Yeah.
And we were in a terrible part of town, like the worst part of town you possibly could be in Yakima. And one thing led to another. And we're sitting there. Caleb is sitting there with me, going over my lines, and we're in my car, and we see a police officer slowly creep up on us, and we're just sitting there. And then the lights come on. I'm like, okay, dang it, okay. And we get up, We go outside, and we're just hanging out. They're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? It's like, chillest police officer I've ever met. He said, so what are we doing here, guys? Caleb and his Spider-Man
There's also
suit.
a guy, and you guys will see him in the movie, who had like a replica, non-sharp samurai sword. So that made the situation like
More fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was cool about all of it, though, this police officer, and he
Those
just
are
said,
the best
listen,
guys, yeah.
listen, you can't shoot here because, you know, there are people inside the windows, and we don't, you know, the hospital doesn't want them to see that, you know. If you would like, you can call the manager of this place and ask them. Caleb called that person. She was the sweetest lady ever. Still had to be like, we literally just can't do this. We're so sorry. And we're like, all right. Like, you know, like he was like, okay, you got like this much amount of time to get out. You know, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much.
They gave
We're
us like 5 minutes.
They
It
gave
was
us 5
like,
minutes.
It was
Yeah.
our equipment everywhere.
That's
and
impressive, though. You were there for 6 hours,
Yeah.
and they didn't notice. What time
Yeah.
did they notice? Like, was that
probably
midnight?
like 3 o'clock in the morning.
3
Yeah.
a.m.
It was,
Wow.
pretty, it was pretty late, yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
A car got robbed that night,
Yeah.
too.
So we're getting
That's wicked, yeah.
We leave my friend's car because he wasn't there to drive it because he was at a like a party. You know, they had to run off, go to a party real quick, and then
Just
he was
real
like,
quick.
Yeah, just real quick.
Actors, am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then basically, you know, he left his keys for us, and what ended up happening is that we drove to our local coffee shop that we love to
Should be
death,
fine.
and then what happened after that is that I had someone drive me back to my friend's car, grab it, and I was like, oh, this is feeling weird, and we drove it back to the coffee shop. Then me and Caleb look at each other like, what do we do? It's like,
Yeah.
like we're halfway through the shooting night, probably like got like 50%, if not 75% of the shoot done.
Yeah, and like the footage turned out pretty good. Like it was a rough shoot, but like I remember specifically like probably 20 minutes before the officer showed up, you and I locked eyes and we were like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're gonna do. It's gonna work. Like,
And that's when we realized we didn't
yeah,
do it.
so don't say that out loud if you're ever in a situation similar. Knock on wood immediately.
Yeah.
Step 3 as a filmmaker: knock on wood, have wood on you, have it in your
Yeah,
pocket.
just have a block of wood.
Just have a block of wood. Just we're ready to go. Basically, we left me and Caleb left with another guy.
We lost one of them.
Keep going, go on.
Man down.
We lost. So me and Caleb and another guy who was like, I know a place that looks exactly like that parking lot. We went to it, and basically he was like, sorry, never mind, we probably can't shoot here. And they were like, we only have one place we can go to that we have shot at one other time. We went to Walmart, and basically we were in the parking lot, and we're like, there's a tree here like the last shot. This works, right? And we were like, suddenly it's like we got a call from because we left some people back at that coffee shop.
Oh.
We were getting a prosthetic applied on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. If
Oh,
you watched
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was a long
yeah.
process for our makeup artist.
3
too.
hours that process took, and she's doing that, and she calls us saying, Caleb, the cops are now here telling us we can't stay here. We're coming to you. Where are you at? Walmart. They get there, and they're like they told us that they're going to be looking for a guy in Spider-Man costumes. They are looking for us.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Life imitates art.
Yeah, and then we're sitting there, and me and Caleb look at each other, and we're just shaking our heads because we don't want to admit it. We're like, we have to cancel the shoot. We can't continue on.
Sitting on 75% of the scene done, and we have to give up.
Yeah.
The cops are like, he's a menace to society.
Yeah, I'm wondering, when does J. Jonah Jameson step out as the police chief?
Yeah.
He's Gordon now, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He's Justice League. Yeah. We're doing a Marvel DC crossover.
It's amazing. So yeah, that happens, and then I go back to Caleb. We find out, just the spark notes of what happened after that is that we had then found out when our friend came back to get his car, he realized there was papers on the ground. His wallet and things in his wallet were stolen. His card was stolen. A lot of things are stolen in it. And basically, we were all freaking out on the side of the road by Caleb's house, and guess what? Another cop gets called on us by the nursing home that we're sitting right next to, because they're like, have we been drinking tonight, boys? And I'm like, guys, like,
And it's the
listen.
nursing home.
I
that's
wish.
It's literally like the nursing home that's right in front of my mom's house too. So we
Exactly.
were like going into my house, and then we got pulled over.
Exactly. So basically, just to end off the night too, someone had stolen our friend, who is Micah Mays, the 7th director, stole his ID,
Oh.
and we had gotten a message on Messenger saying, I know where you live now. The guy who stole his wallet
He was a
messaged
Nazi
him.
too. He
Yeah.
had a swastika on his head.
What?
Yeah, some weird neo-Nazi broke into Micah's car and then threatened him over Messenger.
And then the cop was right there, like, hey, this guy just like threatened us. What can we do about that? file a report. And I'm like, we literally have like evidence, and you're over here like, okay, thanks. So then I spend the night at Caleb's, and I just wake up and like,
And it was all a dream.
woo!
Thankfully, it was a.
We finished the shoot. No, a month later.
Oh, the best.
After another month of shooting all these scenes.
A month after we were already supposed to be done shooting.
Yeah,
too.
a month
like,
after we were supposed to be done shooting, we
Yep.
finished some other scenes though
Yeah.
that we were supposed to get done, and then we got them done, and then it was like, okay, there's one scene we have to do left. It's like, we gotta go for it. It's the final fight, but this time we're doing it right. And I was like, we're coming in with the big guns. We looked everywhere for a parking lot that would let us, and you know what? We found the perfect one, and we found it, and it was at this little local arcade and smoke shop combination, oddly enough. And they had a parking lot in the back, and basically, the parking lot you see in the movie is that parking lot. This night was a lot simpler in that sense. Planning it out, perfect. We got the cast there. We asked the owner, and he said he'd be down for it if he could, like, you know, do 2 commercials for his smoke shop and for his arcade.
Perfect.
Might have to mention that we haven't actually given the commercials yet, but we're gonna get there.
We have them.
We
He didn't give us a timeline.
He really didn't, and he hasn't actually messaged us to give it to him. Oddly
Yeah,
enough.
I think he honestly forgot about it.
Yeah, but we're gonna get him to you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay. Either way, we get the back of the place, and we're thinking to ourselves, I'm literally just like, like, let's try this again. I was like, maybe tonight we'll go simpler. It did not. We basically
It was
shot.
arguably worse, but the footage turned out better, and we just.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
I came back full force with my lines. Caleb was ready to go. It was a tough night. Drama, epicness, and craziness. 12 hours in negative, like, degree weather.
You were in a jumpsuit.
I was in a...
I was lucky because I was in like 3 layers of clothes.
Yeah, and I was in, like, a little, like, skinny jumpsuit that, like, probably, like, is this thin.
Oh.
And, like, in between takes, I'd just be like... Like, there's gonna be...
I have footage that'll be in the blooper
Yeah,
reel.
there's gonna
of
be,
him.
like, behind-the-scenes footage, and, like,
Yeah.
it'll be great. And that was the night. And the best part about that night, like I mentioned on Cody's podcast, is that everyone pitched in that night. Everybody. No one was a filmmaker there. They were barely they're not even really actors at all. They're just people that we just wanted to come along because we wanted them there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, in my eyes, like, they are like the best like filmmakers out there now because they sat there with us for 12 hours, you know. Their scenes they barely have any screen time in this movie,
Yeah.
but they sat there for 12 hours
Some
with
of
us.
them didn't end up in the final cut too.
It's terrible, you
Yeah.
know. It's like, and like, you know, it sucks because that's how this works.
Yeah.
But they did it because they cared enough to make it happen, you know. You know.
Those are the real MVPs
Yeah.
of Knox.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Like, I can't like. If any of you guys are watching this from the final fight, I want you to realize we will not stop talking about you because you guys killed it. Like, you know, like everybody that night holding lights above their head. You know, like, might I mention, there's a bright light that's
very bright light that
a-
worked beautifully.
a very bright light that like worked amazingly in this alley, like this like parking lot, but at like 10:35, 10:37, the most random time, shuts off. So we
So
came
we had
up.
to recreate it.
So basically, we got all these lights and we're holding them up, acting like we had it. Before, you know, and like that's like for 5 hours we're doing that, you know. We're switching out people and they're holding it up, you know. We're trying to have a good time. We're all chattering our teeth. People are like hanging out in cars trying to get warmed up. I'm running out of gas, so I couldn't do it. And like we were just trying to get through it. Caleb and I were just like, yeah, this is sure easier. And then it finally happened. We're sitting there. We're filming one last little thing on a phone that didn't even end up in the movie.
It did. It did end up.
It ended up in the movie. And basically, Caleb was like, all right, I gotta say, that's a wrap. The Break of Dawn is coming out. And everyone's like, yeah!
We got done right before the sun came
Yeah,
out.
it
It
was-
was insane.
It was 7 a.m. and we had started shooting the scene at 7 p.m., but we had been shooting since 4 p.m. other scenes. We had been
Oh
up from
my
4
gosh.
p.m. to 7 a.m. It's the craziest
Shooting
night.
that entire time,
And
yeah.
then the night ended off perfectly. Me and Caleb were, like, you know, had fake blood all over us, looking like maniacs. We walked to our local McDonald's that just woken. Like, we literally had gone to the McDonald's the night before it closed, and then we went back the morning after, and we just went in. And I was like, I literally like
One of everything,
Yeah.
please.
I literally walked in with the most confidence I've ever had in my life. I looked at them with all the blood in my eyes, and I just went, and I just walked by. I just went to the bathroom, washed it off, and I was like, I'm cold. And then the night happened. The night ended. I mean, the day ended. I got into my car, almost crashed 5 times because I was passing out.
Oh.
And then we got home, and my grandpa was like, "Hey, can you like go take out the trash for me real quick?" And I'm like, I've been up all night. And he's like, I'll take it out for you. No, thank you, Grandpa.
Grandpa, I am a filmmaker. I will not do these menial tasks.
I passed out, and that is the end of the final fight. And a year later, you can finally see the 10 minutes that we got out of it.
That is the story of all filmmaking right there.
That's
I
the
think.
Apocalypse Now, Hearts of Darkness story of the no-budget filmmaking community, as far as I know. I'm sure there are more out there, but that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that experience?
Bring jackets.
Yeah, well, I learned that like people will surprise you. Like I was not expecting all of those extras, like because like we got their stuff done, or a lot of them. There were some that were left over. We got a lot of them done. We're like, you guys can go. We can get your shots done, and you guys can go. And they were like, no, we're gonna stay and like help. And like Mr. Rogers, like the big sides, like the henchman of the main bad guy, stood like he was saying for like. He was the main one for like 5 hours holding that light above his head.
The madman.
And like, nobody asked him to do that. He had work the next day. And like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if there was a lot to gain in terms of what I could do differently going forward, because I don't know how else I would have shot that scene than how we did it. I definitely learned from the first time to like, with a scene as big as that, because I'm a proponent of just guerrilla going, shooting wherever. But if the scene is that big, it's probably the exception to that rule. Go try your hardest to get permission to shoot there, because especially if you're shooting a scene with fake guns, everybody armed with fake guns, samurai swords, fake blood, probably lock that location down if you can.
And fake cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
But yeah,
Details.
outside of that, just like there's people in Yakima who are willing to like help you no matter what for no reason, but just wanting to help you and like.
I genuinely think there's like people everywhere like that, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, everywhere. You just gotta find them.
Yeah, you know, people are important. People are important.
And how do you find them?
That's,
Say you're a filmmaker in Kansas somewhere, or Montana, middle of nowhere, wherever, and you're like, I have maybe one friend. How do I find those people? What do you do?
casting notices. I posted on Craigslist. I put flyers up everywhere, stuff like that for the main cast, and then try to find yourself a Nathan. That's like, I know that's like
Find a Nathan.
Yeah, like seriously though, like find someone who has the connections. If you're not the connection guy, then go find that person. Instead of looking for 100 people, look for that one person that knows the 100 people, and they can be your gateway to like basically endless possibilities. Yeah, because like on an extra level, we wouldn't have been able to get anybody if it wasn't for Nathan.
Either way.
I'm just saying,
know,
like
yeah.
find yourself someone who has the connections, or if you're the person who has the connections yourself, then you already have the problem solved.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me start with this question. Let's
Okay.
take us to the beginning.
Yeah.
When do you get that bug? What's your origin story? When do you like, I'm going to make a movie? I mean, you kind of told a little
Yeah.
bit of it earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
but did you like movies before then? Did you like movies? Was that a later thing?
Yeah, I've always loved movies. Like I said, I did the YouTube thing because I didn't believe in myself enough to make them. I always deep down wanted to make them, but I was like, I know I want to do something with movies. I know I don't want to direct at that point. I was like, I'm not going to direct. I can't do that or whatever. So I started the YouTube thing, and then I saw Clerks, and yeah, that was like, I have the generic indie filmmaker origin story of like, I saw Clerks and then everything changed. Like, that's actually what happened with me. I watched Clerks and then I reconsidered the idea of me not being able to direct. And yeah.
Hey, you saw the puffy chair though too. So I
The
mean,
puffy chair was later. The Clerks is what got me to start pursuing making movies. I haven't talked about this. Living with Trevor, we shot about 60% of that movie and the entire hard drive crashed. And we had to reshoot most of the movie, and that's what the final product is. But that first trial of shooting Living with Trevor, I'm almost glad is gone, because I was trying so hard to emulate Kevin Smith, like very locked down camera, and it just was not fitting my directing style whatsoever. The movie felt dead. Like if you guys could see, you can't because the hard drive's gone, but if you guys could see the original fight scene, you'd just be astounded at how boring and dull it was. And then once that hard drive crashed, I was at my lowest low, and I watched the Duplass brothers' first movie, The Puffy Chair, which I always say is like in my mind, one of the first like folk filmmaker, like digital movies or whatever. And yeah, like that movie's it's shot on a handy cam. There's no like, they're not overthinking the shots. It's not locked down at all. They're zooming a bunch, and I was just like, why am I like locking myself down to just this one type of filmmaking when I can pick up this camera, I have a zoom lens, and just like shoot the way that I feel to shoot, like, and that's what I ended up doing with the second go of Living with Trevor, and it turned out great. I just thought of the camera as an extension of myself instead of like I have to emulate Clerks, I have to get the shot to look like Clerks, whatever. I just shot the movie how I wanted to shoot it. And yeah, I think I've over time with Not So, I've developed a pretty frantic like just running around and grabbing random shots style. And yeah, I don't know, the puffy chair is what birthed my like realization that I don't have to shoot movies this way. I can shoot them the way I want to shoot them. Clerks was like what made me go like, okay, I want to direct movies. So
Great.
yeah. So yeah, my origin story is the generic origin story. It's not there isn't like a ton to it, but
yeah, and I just piggybacked off of his origin story in all honesty. I just showed up. I was like, oh, there he is. That's how I showed up. I just like it just popped into the universe. It was great. Yeah.
Well, what's so great about that? I know I don't know if we've talked about this on camera, but like our two kind of groups are very like, there's a lot of parallels there.
yeah.
And that's how Ethan and I started. Like I was the one who was into movies, and he just showed up.
I just showed up. I was an actor for the longest time.
And now he's the cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome, yeah.
It's great.
I'll start learning how to use the camera, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's your next step.
Yeah.
The camera.
And that's not to give you and I like more credit than we deserve or whatever, but that's like the truth is like, if you're in a small town or just a place that you feel like nobody's making movies, just start and people will come. The people will come.
Yeah.
And you
might
might
not have-
change people's like
Yeah.
careers.
Well,
Yeah.
I would have dropped. I was already like, I had thought about if I wanted to make movies like sophomore, junior year, and I had dropped it. Like, there's no way this is possible. Even if I wanted to just be an actor or anything, it's not realistic. So I dropped the idea completely. And then you were making stuff, and I was like, well, it'd be fun to just be in this little thing. It's a commitment of like a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
No sweat. And then I got asked to come in for another scene for Perfect Day, and I was on a second scene at that point that wasn't planned originally. And all of a sudden I'm in the next project, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not going to college, I'm making movies. And here we are.
That's wonderful.
So the fact
don't go to college.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
well,
Depends on your job. If
but
Let's just put it this way.
you want to be a doctor, go to college.
I went to film school, and now I have thousands of dollars of debt. So just put that into consideration.
we have a piece of paper that says you're a filmmaker at least. But what you're saying, what I like what you're saying is like just being the person that starts is like you're gonna change at least someone around you and open them up to it, and that's gonna be transformational. And then you're kind of bringing those people in, and that's really cool and exciting. So like, if you don't know the people, just build the people.
Yeah.
Make them.
At the end of the day,
Force them. No.
At the end of the day, I just want more people doing what we're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of the most positive things you can do.
Yeah.
Even when you're sitting out in the middle of like freezing cold. I mean, like it's literally like Caleb has one of the best quotes that I'm pretty sure is from something else, but basically it's like the worst day on a film shoot is better than the best day on any other job.
Yeah.
Like for us at least, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's how. Like I think that's when you know, like that's what you're supposed to be doing in life is like the very thing that like the very days that are the worst for you, but you still do it. But you'd rather be doing that than sitting at some desk job where you make millions of dollars and you're like just a sad person. I mean, like make a movie. Gosh, I don't know. Like stop.
Or just go do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like just art in general. If any art form, just go do it. Stop waiting for the validation to go do it. Just do it.
I mean, if you like balloon animals, make balloon animals. Sorry.
I've never been so motivated by balloon animals before. It's great.
I'm making a movie now. It'll be great.
That's great.
Yeah. This is so random. Like, there's a movie. The third movie I always tell you I want to watch out of those three, I finally remembered it. I'm so sorry. This is super off topic. I'm sorry. Okay.
Now you got to share it.
I got it.
You've hyped it up.
So there's these three movies I want to watch off of Dan Lotz's no budget feature playlist of feature films, and there's 3 I want to watch: Ribbon, Assassin, and Son of Clowns.
That's right. Yeah.
Son of Clowns. So basically, because like, the whole balloon thing, basically it's about these guys who are like work as clowns, and then like looks like they're really depressed about being clowns. So I'm like, this is gonna be good. Like, I'm like, now I gotta watch it. And, like,
And maybe you guys should all go and watch it too.
Yeah.
Go to that playlist. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big resource that I didn't have when I started.
That's how we found you guys. That's the thing,
Yeah.
is that we found you guys through that playlist, and like, it's like it was one of the like the best like things that could have possibly happened, because I mean, look at us now.
We're unstoppable.
Well,
being chums.
that's what's so wonderful about the folk filmmakers,
Yeah.
truly independent, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. There's so many of us out there,
Yeah.
and it's still a very niche audience.
Yeah.
Still, there's a lot of people in it, but it's still niche compared to the world.
Yeah.
And it's so great that you guys are just a few hours away from us. We're
Yeah.
a few hours away from you.
Yeah.
We can meet up. Not everybody can meet up.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
where do you see getting into stuff beyond us? Anything
Yeah.
we can personally influence?
Yeah.
What's the next stages of this movement that we're in? How would you describe it to someone? Like, if someone was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you making these movies? Who else is making these movies? Where is this going? Where's this leading?"
Yeah. I would say, like, we're doing what nobody else is doing. We're not waiting for Hollywood to knock on our door. We're just making movies,
For sure.
and movies that Hollywood couldn't make. Yeah, and like in the future, I've talked to you guys about this privately, but I want a world, and I don't know how this is possible or how it'll happen, but I want a world where like we get to a point where like we're able to make a small living off of our movies. And yeah, I mean, I love YouTube to death, and like YouTube's great for what we're doing, but I do, like, down the future, I hope someone creates a service, and Prime kind of is like that. I've heard that it's not super hard to get your movies on Prime, but yeah, I mean, that's a big thing for me, is just I feel like all of us put so much work into our movies, and it's not a thing where it's like I need to get paid for it. I'd be fine not getting paid for the rest of my life. I'm going to do this no matter what. But I do think that's the next step, is getting to a place where we're able to do this and only this and whatever. And I want it to blow up to the point where like my mom will just find our movies and and just watch it like any movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Just
and like I
find-
said, I'm not an expert in any of like the business side of things, so I don't know how any of that is gonna happen, but I want it to.
Yeah. You know what I want from this movement, though, or this revolution, or whatever we want to call it? It's just like, I want more moments like this. I mean, like, you know, like here's
more
the thing,
collaboration.
It's like, I mean, we've seen like Joel Haver and Cody Clark come together to make videos, and that's about it. I mean, like we've seen Cody and Joel's short films, but that's about it. That's all we've really gotten. But I would love to see like all these features, like our brethren, as we shall go with that, like, have them come together and like start making stuff together. It's like we were all so blind to each other. Like, don't get me wrong, some of us were in on this way before us. We all thought we were alone in this for the longest time. I feel like me and Caleb especially. We thought to ourselves, we're the only one doing this, so we just need to keep going. It wasn't like we're the only ones doing this, so we need to quit. Like, no, like all of us had thought. I probably thought that we were going to be doing this alone, that we were the only people doing this right now. But then this whole entire world just opened up to us. Like you guys came into this before we did. We just barely just got introduced to this as of like months ago. Like
Literally months ago.
yeah, like probably like 3 months ago as of now.
Yeah.
And we're finding out about everybody. And it's the fact is that I think we're all gonna benefit from each other now more than ever, because we've been through it, so we know what you've gone through, and you've gone through it, so you know what we've been through. Very different processes. We have different ways of doing things, but overall we get it.
Yeah.
Filmmaking, it's just hard.
And that's not something you can find just anywhere. Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think like the folk filmmaking thing is also like a way for like truly independent filmmakers to connect. Like I hope more stuff like this happens. Like we can't be the only ones in that playlist, and just people who are even outside of that playlist who are like within like a small drive. Like it's probably not a super common thing, but I'm sure there's a couple other people like if they found each other, they'd be like, oh well, I'm like 5 hours away, let's meet up.
Exactly. I just love the idea of us just like networking. Like
yes.
we don't get to have the big Hollywood studios out there. We don't get to meet we don't get to meet these famous actors. We don't get that. We get to meet the your actors. We get to meet Papa Hobbs. We get to meet, you know, we get, sorry, Papa Hobbs. We get to meet Morgan Tibbs. Hell, I told Caleb that, like, listen, like, if they, like, I mean, if we have a part for them, you know, we might just send over a script one day and be like, listen, if you're interested, if you'd like to audition, you know, like, it's the fact that we can network actors, we can network, you know, resources with each other, you know, because we have limitations at the moment. But once we band together, those limitations are slowly shortened because we have our own resources that we could be using for each other, you know? It's like, you know, you're a cameraman. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, Caleb's amazing with the camera, but, you know...
Nowhere near you.
Exactly, you know?
Don't build it up that much.
Exactly, you know, you have a keen sense of just being, like you, Jordan, you have like a keen sense, I don't even know how to put a word on it, is that you have a keen sense of like planning and just making sure everything goes to schedule, you know? Caleb over here, he's fantastic with coming up with ideas and just going for it, you know? He doesn't care whatever situation hits him. He goes for it. Me, still figuring that out. But, you know, like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is what I do and this is what I do. Like, no, it's like, we all have something that we can offer for each other. Learn off each other, you know? Just like, we're learning a lot right now even, you know? I feel like just being in each other's presence.
If this thing is going to blow up, it's going to be because we all band together and make it blow up.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this too, but this goes out to any folk filmmaker, anyone out there, especially you guys, Dan, Cody, Joel, like you guys who kind of really were the spearheads of all this. We're willing to fly out. I don't know if you guys feel this.
Yeah.
We're willing to fly out.
Oh, yeah.
We will pay for the ticket. All we ask is
a
pay
bed,
for our
yeah.
lodging. Just
Yeah.
pay for like
A
or
floor
like
to sleep on,
I will
floor
something.
to sleep on. That's all we ask.
I love
A
couches.
couch.
Couches are cool.
Couches are great.
Yeah.
Recliners.
I think that
Table.
desire from all of us to, rather than go on a vacation, rather
Yeah.
than go on a
Yeah.
camping trip,
Yeah.
we'll pay to fly out to meet other filmmakers and
Yeah.
work on their stuff and contribute and help and network just like you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I want to talk about something that we talked about literally like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Oh.
This idea, like, okay, I'm not gonna steal their idea. Basically, this is theirs. Like, if this happens, it's their idea. I'm just gonna add on to it. So that's my part. Either way, they said that we should have all these folk filmmakers come together for like a weekend and go to like some type of like hotel or resort or something like that, and we just meet up and make videos all the time. You know, like we can do that. You know, just so we can finally all meet in person and all that. And I want to add one more thing. I want to do like a Hollywood style like round table type thing. So basically,
We've talked about that too.
like all of us there, you know. I want like, you know, all of like the the directors and all that, but I also want like all the producers. You know, I want Dan Lotz and Joel Dick. I want you know. I want, oh my gosh, help me here. I want Cody Clark and his lovely girlfriend, Chloe.
I can't pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry.
Chloe P.
Pelletier.
Yeah. I want, you know, I want Joel Haver and Trent Lazarski, you know? I want all, it's funny that we're all duos, by the way.
Yeah, we noticed that
great.
the other day. Everyone has a duo.
But yeah, you know, and it's the fact is that, like, you know, it's just that we're like so close to it, I feel like too, you know? I think we are all in the same headspace, like we need to meet. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, cause like, it's like Spider-Man when he's like in the Spider-Verse, basically he's like dying to meet someone who understands him and then he literally just meets other versions of himself. I feel like that's where we're at right now, you know?
Yeah.
We're literally looking into mirrors at this very moment, you know?
Yeah.
Like over in New York, we have Cody and Joel, and we have, you know, I think in Colorado is Dan Lotz, you know? And I mean, there's so many more. That playlist that Dan has is so full of people who don't even know about us yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's
I-
people in that playlist that probably don't even know they're in the playlist.
Yeah,
That's so
exactly.
We were in that boat. I didn't know for the longest time.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like I think from here on out I'm gonna start trying to like message people who don't even know about this, like because they need to know, you know.
Yeah.
They
They need
matter.
to know that they're part of this.
Yeah. You know, just so they know that they're not alone and they just
Yeah.
need to keep going because like
Yeah.
they're like everyone here is fantastic.
And-
Keep going. That
And
is
there's
a
so many
great-
different tiers of where we're all at. Like
Yeah.
we're kind of in the lower end of it, but
Yeah.
but what's
There's
great
freedom
is like,
to that, too.
but all of us have, I feel like, different audiences generally. So it's
Yeah.
like, if I shout out your movie or you guys shout out someone else's movie, like we're kind of sharing the pot, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, all these small bubbles become like
Yeah.
a really big bubble, and that's
Yeah.
going to change the game, I think, for
Once-
all of us.
Like once we're scratching each other's backs, that's when this blows up. You know.
Yeah.
It's the fact is that like, you know, I mean, we're not trying to be famous.
Yeah.
He's not trying to be famous. You two are trying to be famous. You know.
We're
not
just trying to get our art seen.
Yeah.
Is that, at least I won't speak for everyone, but that's like, I just
Yeah.
want...
If you
yeah.
guys want to be famous, I don't judge you.
Yeah, I want to be famous.
Yeah, but like I mean, you know, we're starting something here. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of beautiful. In all honesty, okay, now I'm just getting to like that territory of like it's really just truly beautiful, man. It's just, you know, I just
start crying over here.
Yeah, it's like it's truly beautiful though. Like what we can do together though. It's like, you know, the day we see like you know. people come together to make a movie, like the craziest thing. Like you guys said, I will fly out to someone's like like to their. I will fly out, sleep in someone's guest room, sleep on their floor, sleep in their doghouse. I will do it. I would love to act in someone else's movie, not because I don't love Caleb's scripts. It's just because like I want to be able to expand because that's what I want,
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you guys want similar things too. I know you two would love to like go work with like Dan Lotz on something,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We've been begging him.
Yeah.
Begging him.
Yeah,
We call him up every day.
He hasn't gotten back to us for some reason.
Yeah.
But then also, like, I think that's really true about scratching each other's backs and lifting people up, because we do talk about over and over the same, core people in the spearheads of this movement, but they lifted us up,
Yeah.
and someone lifted them up in a way. So we need to find other people too. Like, that's another thing we're trying to do and get better at, is going on to people who are subscribed to us and just watching their channel, seeing what they're making, and trying to shout out, which is tough because when you're making stuff, you don't obviously have time to sit down and watch a whole ton. But we try to like watch and interact and share other people's great work.
Yeah. In all honesty, like it's kind of perfect for me and Caleb right now because we're kind of in a break stage right now. Not so Killed, clearly. The editing process was just as bad as the final fight.
Oh yeah.
But the fact is that now that we have a year off, basically, for the last couple months, all we've been doing is binge watching movies. I go to Caleb's. We haven't seen like
folk filmmaker movies.
Yeah. Like we don't sit down and watch. The last thing we watched that was Hollywood related was the Snyder Cut. That was it,
Yeah.
Everything before that, we were literally watching Chlorine, Bed. We were watching Mute Day. We were watching House and Oh Brother, October. We were watching The Great American Sleepover. We were watching what is it called? The Giant Attack of the Giant Blurry Finger. We haven't watched like a Hollywood movie together,
and it feels great.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like I feel like these people that are making movies completely independently, whether it's free on YouTube or Prime, like, because that's what Cody did for the longest time, and I'm glad he's offering his stuff for free now. But, like, all of these movies feel refreshing in a way that, like, I haven't seen from a Hollywood movie in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because I feel like if you bring up to an average person, like, indie filmmaking, I feel like the first thing is artsy. It's like artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like that's really what any of us are making. I mean, I feel like we're all just kind of, from our point of view. I mean, you guys made a superhero movie.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like that's like so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, we kind of make our stuff, but I feel like there's so much of our personalities into them too, and it's just a really it's so different that I feel like once we just need to like we talk about like one or two movies need to hit mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's going to kind of change everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Caleb says the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of the YouTube model is like, once the people, all we have to do is find the people with YouTube, because if someone is excited about a premise, nobody's gonna be like, oh, if it's free to watch, they're gonna watch it if they like the premise.
Then that's it.
And Nathan and I have talked about this a lot. I think, and this should have been my actual answer to the next step thing. I think the next step is like a lot of us folk filmmakers like taking some time to really like get really good at marketing, because I feel like we make these great movies, and if we can get to a point where like people are actually finding them very easily, and we have like a really, really good trailer to go with it, I feel like that's going to make the process way easier.
Yeah. I feel like Dan's been the best at that. He's very persistent at like shouting out his movie. Like once we release a movie, like a week later, it's like, all right, we're moving on.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm always seeing him shouting out like, have you watched Long Con yet? And, and he's still posting. And it's like, man, we should probably remind people that we've made movies.
I mean, I don't want to step on your toes. I mean, I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna. This isn't official. It's just like, you make really damn good trailers. In all honesty,
Gage edited the trailers for Not So. I edit trailers for other people's movies and stuff. But like, I don't know. An attention to trailers, I think, could help us all a lot. Because like the movies speak for themselves. It's just getting them in front of people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the next step, is finding a way to get people who don't know about this to give it a fair shot.
And this is the best, as filmmakers, we have to be marketers too, right?
Yeah.
And we're at a great position. We're not if you're at a big studio and you're a director, you make a movie, you're not in charge of the marketing.
Yeah. No.
Not necessarily all the time. Sometimes more directors have influence and can say things or make suggestions, but most of the time it's a big marketing team. They go out to a separate production studio to edit the trailer.
Yeah.
And they get audience opinion on trailers,
Yeah,
as we know, because we used to do that.
Yeah,
as a
we
job.
used to. That was a job.
That was our first jobs in high school. Is we
Yep.
would review, we would show and take surveys of unreleased movie trailers for studios.
Yeah.
It's a terrible job.
Terrible. We can get into that. That's another time. But you have a wonderful opportunity now as a filmmaker to create your own marketing, devices. So when you think to yourself, maybe not how do I market my movie, but like, what could I see that would hook me?
Yeah.
What if I'm browsing TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and I see something? What's going to make me want to click that link?
Yeah.
You have to start thinking in terms of that marketing, but also you can get really creative with how you do things. We don't have to. I mean, if you wanted to, this might be terrible, but you could spoil your entire movie
Yeah.
on TikTok. You could
Yeah.
release your entire movie on TikTok in 1-minute clips and just put at the bottom, click
Yeah.
the link here to see it. That's
Yeah.
a totally viable marketing
Yeah.
thing. You could try, and I'd love to
Yeah.
see someone try that because
Yeah.
the studios aren't going to try that.
No.
Yeah.
That's something we can do that they
Yeah.
can't. So we have this really unique opportunity to push the boundaries, not just with our movies, but with marketing in a way that just Hollywood can't.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
no. Yeah, and I truly think like a good 90% of the movies that are in that playlist, like on every level, technical, performance-wise, everything, are so watchable that if those people found those movies, it would just like everything would be taking off. It's just a matter of getting them in front of people. Because I think as of right now, the problem that we're facing, and it's like a double-edged sword because it's semi-problematic, but it's also fantastic. Is that like I feel like most of the people that watch our movies, your guys' movies, and everything are other filmmakers, which is
Yeah.
amazing, and I
Yeah.
want that to keep happening. But we also need to find the non-filmmakers
Yeah.
and the people who aren't
Yeah.
interested in making their own movies, but just regular film consumers. Because I think, like, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of cinephiles out there that would find House or something and be blown away, like
Or
we
hate
were. Either way, hate, love, whatever, you're still getting a reaction, whatever.
I think just people need to like. Of course, people don't look at YouTube. Like they look at Netflix and they look at Amazon Prime. They look at Hulu. They look at name XYZ streaming service, and they don't think YouTube as a streaming service. They think I'm gonna go there, watch Logan Paul. That's it. It's like
It's vlogs.
it's
and
vlogs.
yeah, whatever.
It's, it's every day. It's every day, bro. Sorry. No, it's basically it's like we need something that shows people that we're serious. It's not just like, oh yeah, we threw this on here just because we had nowhere else to put it. It's just like the fact is that we put this on here for you. I like just that special connection between the audience there that like you can't get with the Hollywood movie for sure.
No.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know how we can achieve that.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will happen, and I don't know if it will happen. But it's the fact is that I believe it will happen. I think all of us are so talented and so.
The movies are there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like they're there to be watched. It just takes one person to finally see it, and then this is not going to be the best analogy to use it in our current situation. This virus spreads, and it passes along, and it
folk
goes.
filmmaking bug.
Yeah, the folk filmmaking bug, and we go everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the fact that don't get me wrong, it sucks because the idea of folk filmmaking becoming famous would become a problem too. There's a double-edged sword there. Is that the problem would be, of course, people would get drowned out. That's something that scares me too. Is that the idea that we would be finally getting people to see your guys' movies, Cody's movies, Dan's movies. We'd finally be getting people to do that, but then it would be harder for people like us now to jump in then, because suddenly it's like everyone would want to do it, and it's tough because that's why I think right now everyone needs to do it when nothing is happening. Because when it does happen, they will be there ready to go. It's gonna happen. Big movement will happen. I think that's how this will happen. I think there's a big piece of this community that will be seen as like. There's a big piece of this community that will finally be seen wherever you are, Vimeo, Amazon Prime, YouTube.
I heard also, and this could be completely false, but I'm considering uploading my movies to Vimeo because a friend of mine just uploaded his short films on there that have copyrighted material, and they're on there, like you can watch them. So like I don't know if Vimeo has changed their privacy policy or not private their terms of service or whatever.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, that's another viable option for folk filmmakers too.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're all good. Don't worry. Also, I was just That?
Oh, I'm just checking it.
Yeah, but 27 minutes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you want to finish your idea
Oh,
first,
okay, got it. Well,
You keep talking.
I'll tell you when to stop.
I just don't want to talk you guys' ear off
No,
right now.
you're
you know?
good.
No, take
Okay,
it.
That's
Why you're here.
You got 2 minutes.
Okay. So basically, here's what we need to do. Not gonna, I think overall, working together is going to be the plan. The people around us, you know, the people that surround us are going to be the people that push us. You know, the realist versions, the realist people around us will push us. You know, not because for their own personal gain. You know, we're not going to push you just so we can get famous. You know, we're not going to stay on this channel just like you know, RC Films blows up. You know, we'll plug ourselves. Sure, that'll be something we do. That'll be something we do just so we can like. Get some views. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
That's funny. You have more subscribers than we do.
Yeah.
If anything, you'll give us more.
I hope so. And
We're
that's
plugging ourselves.
Yeah, that's what we
Subscribe
want,
to Dune
though.
Productions.
Yeah. I just want like
Please subscribe to you guys like.
this like we want you guys to like make it big. We want you to like be like insanely big. We want you like okay like. Personal biased, I think you guys should be like the most famous like no budget YouTubers out there. Not gonna lie, you guys are like insanely good. And
I agree.
Interview's done. What are your dreams with filmmaking? What do you, not in terms of make movies, make money.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
In terms of creative projects, are there dream projects in mind? Are there people you'd love to work with? Are there, you know, musicians, people to collaborate with? Like what are your aspirations going forward?
For me, I have most of like probably the next decade of my movies figured out. I'm fortunate in that right. And most of them, there's like one that'll be difficult, but most of them I can do with the resources I have now, which is not something that like everybody has. So I understand that. Like,
sure.
I know plenty of people, plenty of colleagues, other filmmakers that like come up with these ideas and they're like, this is an amazing idea and I agree with them, but it's also like the type of idea you have to put in your back pocket until that day where maybe you're able to put some money into your movie or whatever. I do have a dream project and that's the one that's going to take a while, but I'm also okay with that because I'm not ready to make it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like my dream is to just keep doing what I'm doing. I like I said earlier, like it would be awesome to eventually be able to like get my movie into a theater or something, but I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. YouTube is an amazing opportunity that like people aren't realizing yet, like how great it is. And I mean, we've released 2 feature films with like an entire soundtrack of copyrighted music that you can just watch right now.
I mean 3 technically even, you know.
Yeah, Seventh also has a Will Smith song in it. It's like there's a lot of freedom there. And that's what I've always said when it comes to the music stuff. Like, I'm a proponent of just do whatever you want for your YouTube movies because you don't have to confine to the typical rules of filmmaking. Like, it's kind of the Wild West on YouTube, and that's amazing. And you can kind of go make your movies with the training wheels on at the beginning and use with YouTube, because they have like a thing where you look and see what music you're actually going to be able to use or whatever. But like with that in mind, like just use the music you want to use for the first couple movies, and then maybe after that you'll have a better bearing on like, okay, now I know how I'm going to maneuver into the realm of like just completely owning every piece of content in my movie, whatever. I'm getting off onto it. Anyway, yeah, my dream is just keep doing what I'm doing. If it's always going to be on YouTube, then I'm very happy with that. I need to keep making movies.
Is there? Can I just to press on just a little bit?
Yeah.
Is there a story that you could share? Like, give us a little tease of what one of your stories would be.
Yeah. I mean, I can tease what the dream project is and why it's not going to be something I can do right away. I'm not going to go into it super deep.
Yep.
But I have autism in real life, and I want to make a movie that involves autism, but I want to cast someone who actually is autistic. And that's like the main reason why that's going to be down the road, because that's going to be a very long, lengthy casting process that's probably going to happen while I'm making other movies. It's going to be a long, like, once I find that person, then we'll go with it. But like, it's going to be a long, long process. And I also just don't feel like I'm emotionally mature enough yet to make that movie, because it's one of those movies where like, if I'm going to make a movie that's going to like be my like life movie or whatever, like my take on life in general, it's going to be that movie. And I feel like while in terms of resources and stuff like that, I could go right now. I could cast Nathan as the autistic guy, and he would do like a year of research to get into the headspace of an autistic person. I feel like there'd be a very high likelihood that I would finish that movie and just be like, why did I make that right now? I'm not like, that's a movie where I have to make it at the right time, because if I can't make it twice. I can only make it once. And so, and I said on Cody's podcast, like, I want to get into dramas. That's like my favorite genre. I love comedy too. It's pretty close, the two of them, but comedy's easier to do it, which is why I started with it. But as my movies go on, they're going to get more and more dramatic, and that one will definitely be like one of the more dramatic ones. So yeah, I'm trying to like, and you guys have probably noticed with my comedies, like they take dramatic turns or whatever. I'm trying to like slither my way to dramas through my comedies.
That's great.
Nice. And for you, what are your dreams for your career going forward?
So this is a gray area now. Basically, I want to just act. That's one of the things I want to do. That's how I started. That's where I'm at. I would love to be in, whatever I can be in, and whatever speaks to me. I'm the type of person who likes to read a script first. Usually you can't do that as an actor because you just have to take what you get. But with where we're at, I feel like, people are more willing to like send you the script, and I would, in that case, like I would love to read a script and be like, I want to be a part of this. Let me do the research. I'm gonna get it done. And as of right now, that's my goal. That's my dream, is to be in more of these films right now. That's where I'm at. The long goal, like the overall like goal, is to just hopefully someday be in quote unquote independent films, maybe even, or even just like movies in general, and just be making a decent buck off of it. I would put it back towards RC Films, and I would be putting it towards my own goals and dreams in life, and I'd be doing all that, and that's where I'm at right now. But I'm not in it for the money, Of course, the goal, like, of course, again, we all want that. Of course, like
do what we love and be able to live. Like that's the goal.
Don't have to pull midnight shifts at McDonald's to make ends meet. Like,
exactly.
But but we're also willing to do that. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Like,
I love McDonald's.
But overall, though, I'm also like gonna be like Caleb's right hand man from here on out. I'm gonna be his producer almost on every movie, whatever movie he will let me be on, basically.
Everything.
Okay. Either way, I'm gonna be a producer on every film of his, because like, even though I'm an actor and I'm not necessarily a director or good with the camera or anything that, I definitely want to be able to just help out and make the movies that I love, because Caleb and me have a soft spot for the same things, so everything he writes for the most part always like hits me, and I'm like, okay, first I'm an audition, but second I'm gonna produce this, Yeah, but overall, like, the plan right now is to like live it year by year. If I can be in a film here soon because Caleb is on a break, that would be fantastic. If I can produce a film soon, that'd be great. I'm willing to fly to places. I'm willing to do all that. I would love to read a script, then audition, and then go from there. Like, that's what I'd like. I also am trying. Actually, I do have a dream. I have a dream that people will stop comparing me to Joe Pesci. Yeah, that is my dream.
I mean, you played a gangster.
I know. Yeah. And also, I'm like basically a short Italian
angry,
man.
Yeah.
People are like, man, you're such a good actor, Yeah.
Now you need to play like a robber who breaks into people's homes with a curly-haired guy who's oh wait a minute.
Oh wait.
That won't work.
Or I could do one in a casino. Never mind.
There you go.
Yeah. Overall, though, like, the idea is to just basically be the best actor I could possibly be. My inspiration is Joaquin Phoenix, not because of Joker. He was cool before Joker. I loved him in Her. That's his best performance, like, hands down to me. And either way, I don't know. I always feel like I have to sneak that in there. It's like, hey, this is what I'm trying to strive
best
for.
performance.
Yes, I'm trying to strive to be more like Joaquin Phoenix, but also like not try to be the next Joaquin Phoenix. I'm just trying to be Nathan Cash.
Be the first Nathan Cash, not the next Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah,
that is
there you
definitely
go.
the plan. But overall, the dream is to basically just help this guy out, help myself out, hopefully. And hope that Joe Pesci doesn't call me, telling me I'm stealing his likeliness.
Hey, you look too much like me. Stop.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the dream.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think this would be a good time to sort of wrap up. But before we go, have you had one or two like big tips for anyone else out there who wants to start making movies or who is making movies? What's your advice for them?
You want to go first or me?
I'll save the best for last for you. So I'll let you finish it off. Okay. Tips for making movies is that don't give up. Like, I think your video about shoot it in the rain is the most perfect like example
It's
of that.
amazing.
It's like
That's what I said.
there's 200 views on it, and I'm not gonna lie, we might have been half of those. Either way, but overall, if you want to be a filmmaker, understand that it's not going to be easy. Just like everything in life that you want to do, you're gonna fight for it, and at that point, no, some people won't like. There'll probably be people out there who won't, see what you're doing. There'll be people who won't even know that you're doing it. You'll basically be invisible to the average eye. But I want you to understand something. Don't do it for the viewers. Even though if they watch it and they love it and someone gets something out of it, perfect. That's amazing. Just understand though is that if you do it for yourself and you push forward because you want it to be done and you can find satisfaction knowing that you did it, that is the best thing you can do. Show up every day, get it done, understand that you have to find the joy out of it, not because you're going to become famous or become a superstar or because you're going to make the next Godfather. You just need to just do it because you love making movies and you are trying to say something and because you know why you're supposed to be doing it better than anybody else.
Right on.
Yes.
Spoken like a genius. Just commit. That's what I always say. Like, you can't be halfway into this. You gotta. It's a very hard job. I'm not trying to detour people, but like it is a very hard job. It's amazing and one of the most fulfilling things I've ever experienced in my life. But you gotta commit. You gotta be willing to like super over the top. You have to be willing to kill yourself for your movies. Like you have to be willing to like do whatever needs done to get that movie that's in your head onto the screen.
Yeah.
And also know that the only thing stopping you is yourself. You can do it. There's nobody stopping you from doing it. Cameras are dirt cheap. I shot Not So Amazing on a Canon T2i, and I'm pretty proud of how that movie looks. That's like a $200 camera on eBay. But you can get cameras that are even like cheaper than that. You can use your phone. Like, just go shoot a movie, release it, and learn from it, and just keep going. There's nobody stopping you but yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I'm going to follow that up, we were talking about shouting people out. Is there a movie that you've seen by a no-budget indie film, however you want to call it, that you think is just like, this movie needs to get seen by more people? Is there any that you can think of?
I can't.
I know, I'm
think
putting you on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you guys would have been our guys because you guys have made
Yeah.
our favorite folk filmmaker movies.
What have been your top ones and maybe in Dan's playlist you've seen?
Okay, dang. I don't
I'll
even
narrow it down.
Well, first off, we're still going through them.
Yeah.
So we still haven't we haven't found a ton of people that we haven't already talked about, but there's definitely you guys. We're on your channel, so we don't need to shout you out. But like you guys are our main ones. Cody Clark is a big one. I know he already has a pretty big audience, but like Cody Clark is fantastic.
He needs to put out some DVDs if you want to
Yeah,
pick those
buy his
up.
DVDs before they're
Yeah.
before Amazon abolishes them.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Nate, you have any? We're still watching through them, but like also, this is one thing I'll shout out. Like, I am very, very willing to prioritize movies that people send our way. So like, if you send a movie our way that you made, we will like make sure that's at the top of our queue because we're just kind of eyeballing it with that playlist. We just scroll through and we're like, okay, we'll watch this one. But if you send Nathan or I your movie, we will get to it like probably within the week.
Yes.
We'll echo that too.
Yeah.
We want to see more people out there. If your movie hasn't been seen, it can have 0 views. We want to see it.
Yeah.
Get it to us.
Yes.
We don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's exciting to get to see more people that are in this movement. We don't want to know about just the top people. We want to know about everyone. So.
Yeah.
And if you are subscribed to us
Yeah.
and you're not sending us your movie, we're coming for you because we are watching through all of our subscribers' videos. We're trying our best, and so we will eventually watch yours.
Yeah.
So there's no escape.
Yeah.
You're doomed.
You're doing
Yeah. That's a good outro, actually. That's a good outro to this.
Well, too bad. That's not the outro yet.
Okay, real quick. Sorry. I just like, this is stupid. I just want to like, shout out one person who I think deserves it the most, like David Rivera. I just want you to know that I love you, and you're an amazing dude. He's gonna like blow a gasket when he sees this now. Is that David? Like, you're like the best artist out there, and you have so many, things you want to strive for. Sometimes I can't even catch up with what you're trying to do. He likes to teach. He wants to be a writer, director, actor.
He's the one who face
David.
planted in Natsa.
Yeah, yeah. He's the one who deserves like all the credit.
David taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Nobody asked him to do that in a wide shot. I was gonna edit around that, and he was just like, "No, I'm just gonna do it."
Yeah, he's the madman. By the way, David, we love you. Sorry, I just wanted to say that because I feel like that man needs some love.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yes. But I mean, this was fantastic. This was great.
This was so cool you guys are down here.
Yeah.
We're like so stoked to get to see people in person.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen much
too.
in this.
And the fun is just barely starting.
We're just starting.
Another hour.
Wait till we release the Doom Productions Snyder Cut equivalent, where it's 4 hours long interviewing these guys,
And split into chapters.
and in 4:3 aspect ratio to preserve the creative vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
4-3. Magic words.
Yeah, this is fantastic though. Like I couldn't. You didn't have to have us on. We were just wanted to come over.
You didn't have to drive down here. We didn't make you do
You guys
that.
did the work.
We just sat here.
Like,
Anyways,
Yeah.
go watch RC Films. These guys are going to say they're not the best, but dang it, these guys make some damn good movies. So go watch Not So, go watch Living with Trevor, go watch Seventh, go watch all their stuff, watch their shorts. They're making some amazing stuff. Subscribe to them. Make sure that you're sticking around for what they have coming next, because it's going to be an exciting thing over there at their end. And be sure to send us your work, like we were saying. We want to see it. So do that. But, I mean, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going to pre-record an outro. Or not pre-record, but like...
Or we can cut wherever.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. You can check out our movie, Not So Amazing, on YouTube right now. There'll be a link in the description or something. Also, subscribe to these guys' channel, Doom Productions. It's amazing. So subscribe if you liked the video. And yeah.
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much, RC Films, for coming down and meeting up with us. It was super cool getting to chat with you guys, and we're excited for the next time we get to see you, since you're not too far from us. So there'll be more RC Film Doom Productions crossovers, I feel like, in the future. So be on the lookout for those as they come.
And that relates to our little mini announcement, our little call that we have for you all watching. This show is called Filmmaker Hangout. And I think it would be a little boring if it was just you and me the entire time.
Yeah.
So if you're a filmmaker out there and you're putting out your work on YouTube for everyone to see, if you're a folk filmmaker, a truly independent filmmaker, a no-budget filmmaker, anyone in that kind of sphere, or just a filmmaker in general, and you want to be on our show, let us know. Send us a message. Our email's on our YouTube channel, or you can just comment down below and we'll get chatting. You can message us on Twitter too.
Instagram, Facebook, we're all over.
Yeah,
you'll get us.
We're everywhere. We want to talk to more filmmakers out there who are doing similar work but different work too. And we just want to get to know, the other filmmakers out there. Do some networking, get to know you all, and have some good conversations that hopefully others can learn from.
Yeah, so drop a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. Share this video if you know some other filmmakers you think could benefit from it. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.